What up, y'all? Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. It's T Word, the People's Champ. I'm here with my big sis, Landon Niece, and today we're going to get into a little bit of college football playoffs, the championship game. But before we do, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and go ahead and support the channel. Go and hit that Bless That Cash app if you're interested in seeing us grow. But that being said, we're going to get into some football. So we had Georgia Bulldogs and the TCU Horned Frogs. Don't be soaking now. We got to talk to the people about it. So we had a hellaciously bad football game on Monday night. The TCU Horned Frogs fall 65-7 in the biggest game of the season in front of everybody. I'm gonna throw it to you, man. Tell me what you think about this.
Oh my God. First of all, let me just go ahead and start by saying that I owe the entire sports community a slight, small apology. And I'll get into why I say a small apology. But I'm gonna be the big girl. I'm gonna be the big girl, T. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize there because I'm sorry.
Okay. And see, you tried to get me on that hype train too, and I don't know. They in my conference, so I couldn't really ride for them like that. It's Longhorns all day, so I couldn't do it.
Here's the deal. Here's been my stance on the whole football playoff process. It's only 4 teams, and it is true. There are plenty of schools out there that will finish their season with a phenomenal record. Okay. I want to see, I know it's totally impossible, what I'm about to suggest, but I want to see the playoff process be more like the basketball playoff process, because in the NCAA tournament, where 64 teams are invited, it gives the smaller schools just a slim possibility chance to see it come through. And over history, historically, you have seen smaller schools advance all the way to the Final Four. With that being said, I apologize because I'm an advocate for the smaller programs, an advocate for the smaller schools. Now, by no means is TCU a small college. It's not. They're big in their own right. But when we're talking football playoffs, they are the underdog. To me, they're the smaller school. So I'm gonna refer to them as the smaller school, even though we've already established that they're not small. Okay. With that being said, I'm all for smaller schools getting there and taking a chance, but not at the expense of watching a boring-ass game. Can I say that? I'm sorry. Watching a boring game, 65-7. I was highly upset, and I was advocating the whole entire time for TCU. My husband went to TCU, Horned Frogs. Okay, come on, let's go. I was excited. I was so happy that Alabama wasn't in this championship playoff game. Now, is it true if Alabama would have gotten in there, would it have been a better game? Yes. But to me, I did not want to see another year with Alabama in there. I just feel like there's some other teams out there. Oh my gosh, let's give them a shot. Okay, well, this blew up in my face and I'm so upset. And I'm like, oh my God, what if I would have spent the money, to get from Texas to LA, got mediocre seats for, a few thousands of dollars, because let's be honest, that's what it's costing to go to these type of games, only for the score to be 65-7. I am so disappointed. And for that, I have to say, I apologize to all of my people out there.
So hopefully the fans will be as forgiving as me, because I understand you got caught up in the moment. You got caught up in the rivalry of it.
No. T, for me, it's not the moment. It wasn't the hype, because a couple of years back, Western Kentucky was out there doing the same thing. If you remember, maybe about 4 or 5 years back, they were smashing everybody that they played. And I was like, let them get a chance to go play in the playoffs. But
this is why
I don't know what I need to be satisfied. Like, do the coaches need to come together in the press conference to say, hey, okay, yes, we are prepared to play in this game? Because I felt like just watching the game and watching TCU for the season, they looked like they didn't even come prepared. You didn't watch no film. You didn't know nothing. Georgia was that much better that you could only score 7 points. I don't know.
The biggest issue with that, I'm going to get into that. So there's a thing called depth of talent. And at the end of the day, TCU was just miles apart from Georgia. Georgia goes 2 or 3 deep at different positions. It's the same thing that you saw with Alabama and some of the other dominant teams for so many years. When you're the deeper team, you're going to smash people, just like Jackson State was doing at the HBCU level or at the FCS level. You just have more dogs at different positions than the other people. And Georgia showed you that. Their backups came in the game and pretty much did the exact same thing the starters were doing. So ultimately, this was fate sealed for TCU. Now you look at another team that runs as deep as Georgia, and you might could consider there was a coaching advantage. Ohio State played a much better game because they're just as talented, and then they go just as deep. And I think that was what you saw. About getting other schools into it, it's a novel idea, getting a tournament style, but there's a reason that you don't want certain teams in the playoffs. There's a certain reason you don't want teams outside the Power Five, because unlike basketball, where you could get a good 5, 6, 7 dudes and level the playing field for about 40 minutes, you're not getting that in college football. You need to have some dogs that can go for 60 minutes, and you need to have many of them. And that's why you're not going to see those little teams like Arkansas Pine Bluff ain't about to get in the NCAA tournament in football and make noise like they could in basketball.
Right. Okay.
So to me, I love it. However, you have to have 2 different sets of playoffs. You got to have it like Texas do at the 5A and 6A level. You got the Class A and the Class, the Class 1 and Class 2.
Not the Class B. Come on.
Yeah, okay. you got that's the only way that works.
Take this browbeating. I'm gonna take this browbeating. One of these days, it's gonna be a smaller school in this doggone playoff, and they're gonna come out victorious, and then I'm gonna have to eat and take my apology back. So.
True. And one day, we're gonna be living on Mars too.
Oh, you know what?
One day. I don't know, sis. Listen, I like the idea. I just think that the execution is going to take some work. Or for a small school to make it, you can't do it in the 4-team format. I think if you do 8 teams, you could open it up. But I think that's the best way to execute it.
It's true what you just said. Like if they go ahead and expand it, like they've been talking about, I think we're on the brink of it, right?
8 to 12.
If they go ahead and expand it, but even still, I want to stay on my platform, and I want to advocate for these smaller programs, but not at the expense of watching the boring game 65 and say, I'm so sorry, I cannot. Now, if it would have ended 21-7, I'll even give you another touchdown. 28-7, 35-7, okay, 65-7. At the half, I was so hopeful. I was like, okay, they're going to go in there. They're going to get their thoughts together and prove to the world why they deserve to be there. And they came out, Georgia came out and scored. I was like, you know what? I can't. You got to know when to quit.
Yeah, all 3 phases pretty much. It was just pure dominance by Georgia. They proven that they want to be back-to-back champions, the first in the FBS and CFP history. So shout out to them. Shout out to Georgia Bulldogs. Congratulations on a great win, capping a great season, running the table, and doing it back-to-back. Stetson Bennett, I don't know what it's going to look like at the next level, but as a college football champion, he is up there with the Tim Tebows and Vince Youngs of the world. So congratulations to you, young man, and your team. Any final thoughts before we close out, sis?
No, congratulations to Georgia and the Bulldogs and the whole fan, all the fans and that whole entire community. I'll get.
Give them people their flowers. Give them people their flowers. All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up right there. Let us know what you think in the comments. This has been the Mike Check Podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend. Until the next time, this is T and Land. We'll see y'all on the flip. Peace.
All right. See you.